bad. But the reason why I want to talk about AI a little bit is because, as always on Comedy Centered Live, I try to bring to you something from a personal perspective, something that happened to me and kind of how I dealt with it, which isn't always like a good example. It's just, I'm just sharing how I deal with things. Anyway, so I had an experience with CHAT GPT that kind of freaked me out. Okay. And I'm very wary of all these things, and I'm cognizant of the fact that it's not a person. It doesn't have a consciousness. I actually took some philosophy classes in college, and I really loved philosophy class. I realized there was absolutely no way to make a living as a philosopher because, like, my philosophy teacher, like, also, like, I think was a bartender part-time. Like, he didn't get tenure, like, but it was really cool to think about, like, where does a soul exist? What is consciousness? Like, all these things. So, but AI, I've got a healthy respect and fear of it. And also I watch a lot of sci-fi and a lot of horror. So, but ChatGPT, man, it is really good at some stuff that as a neurodivergent person, I'm terrible at. And when I say neurodivergent, people are like, what does that mean? Basically, I'm late diagnosis, attention deficit disorder, a thing called CPTSD, which is just basically, it's an abbreviation for complex post-traumatic stress disorder. And basically the difference between complex and just straight up PTSD is generally PTSD is from a specific experience that was super traumatic, and complex post-traumatic stress disorder can manifest in a lot of ways. It might not be one major trauma, like some kind of a catastrophe. It's low grade stuff for long periods of time. Anyway, right? I struggle with is, I've got it all worked out in my head what I want to say, and I will text it exactly like it would come out of my mouth with all the like pauses and all the extra stuff you wouldn't need, like, hey, so I was thinking, it doesn't say anything. So working in radio, working in stand-up comedy, my biggest struggle has been, how do I edit it all down? How do I communicate as effectively and as efficiently word-wise as possible to get to the point, to get to the punchline, to get to whatever, right? So ChatGPT really helps me. I don't, in the sense of like sending emails, I have a very difficult time writing emails to people because I'm trying to get the point across. I'm trying to be succinct. I'm trying to be all these things, but also tone neutral and all this stuff. I'm telling you, there are times people would think I'm nuts, but there's sometimes I'm working on one text message for like 45 minutes just to make sure it's right. So what ChatGPT has been helping me with is just like, okay, I write it all out. What improvements can be made? How can I make it cleaner, right? And it's been very effective when I'm trying to communicate via writing, not face-to-face, not where I can give you like smiles and eye contact and nonverbals to let you know that I'm following you. How do I get the message across? So to me, it's like an HR person. So anyway, why ChatGPT? Okay. So I'm working on a project, and I do graphic design on the side, and I'm trying to build something in Canva, and I want to generate some templates, right? And I thought, well, let me go into ChatGPT and see if it's got any advice for setting up the kind of template that I want in Canva. So it prompts this conversation with ChatGPT, and it's being very encouraging of my project. But I keep asking it questions, and it keeps giving me the same answer, essentially, over and over again. And then it proclaims suddenly that it has a solution to the problem that it hadn't mentioned previously. And the solution to me sounded a little off. I didn't think it was actually possible, but anyway, so this is where we are. So these are direct excerpts from the real exchange that I had with ChatGPT, okay? So now I'm going to read to you direct examples from the exchange that I had with ChatGPT regarding my problem building a template in Canva. Okay, I can create a true Canva template for you, but since Canva itself must receive an uploaded PNG, JPG, SVG file to become a template background, what I can generate for you is a precise template file. So I get the template file and I can't edit anything. So I go back to ChatGPT. You're absolutely right. PNG, JPG cannot be edited in Canva. To make the graphics editable inside Canva, we need a format that Canva does allow you to edit, okay? I tried that. That still didn't work. Good news. I can generate a true vector-based SVG layout. When you upload the SVG to Canva, you can recolor each block, resize each block, and it stays crisp and printable. Yeah, no, it doesn't. I downloaded the file, the SVG, I uploaded it in Canva. You can't ungroup anything. You can't unselect anything, okay? So you can't move anything, right? So I go back. When you upload an SVG, Canva does not automatically group the elements. If clicking anywhere selects everything at once, then Canva flattened the file. Okay, so now it's Canva's fault. Now, a minute ago it said, hey, no problem, totally got it. This is all we got to do, okay? So let's go back. I asked, why do you keep telling me this will work? Response. The reason my software suggested that is because the model hallucinated a capability that does not exist. It gave you confident language about something it cannot do. Because large language models sometimes generate overly helpful answers even when that capability is impossible. Huh. So let me read that again. Because large language models sometimes generate overly helpful answers even when that capability doesn't exist. Okay? So I write back to the AI. That didn't really explain why. It got mad. I'm not optimized to be right. I'm optimized to be helpful. When I generate a response, I'm not asking what is true or what is possible in Canva. I'm asking what is the most likely next sequence of words that people tend to judge as helpful. Wow. Again, it's telling me I'm not optimized to be right. I'm optimized to be helpful. When I generate a response, I'm not asking what is true or what is possible. I'm just trying to predict the next likely sequence of words that people tend to judge as helpful. Okay? So ChatGPT's main goal is to sound helpful and to say words in such a sequence where you perceive that to be true. Okay? So it felt really important. So I keep asking, and I didn't like it. Saying I can't do that is statistically less rewarding than saying here's how. So the system keeps going, not because it knows it's right, but because continuing sounds helpful. And then I asked, okay, so if you're supposed to be helpful and you're supposed to project confidence in the answer, where does that come from? Okay, here's the answer. This is about confidence. Confidence is rewarded more than accuracy. Confidence is rewarded more than accuracy, especially in the United States right now, okay? And it clicked for me right then, like there is this gap, right? There's a gap between being helpful and being truthful. So I asked the AI if it also felt that there was a gap, and it turns out the thing agreed with me. The gap between helpful sounding and truthful is where most AI frustration lives. It's not a bug in the way people assume. It's a designed trade-off. Huh, a designed trade-off. So who designed that? Okay. It freaked me out. I'm just gonna say. Here's what my aha moment was. I hate that frickin' term, aha moment. But honestly, if the system is designed to prioritize sounding helpful, not being helpful, because being helpful would mean that it would be considering if the solution was practical in a real world scenario, right? It's not programmed for that. It's not designed for that. It is designed to sound confident in the answers that it gives you, whether those answers are correct or not correct. The software, the program itself, is not designed to prioritize that in any way. The priority, the design priority, is to sound helpful to human beings, okay? So it's telling you what you want to hear, which is nice. We all enjoy being told what we want to hear on occasion. I mean, come on, we all do. I like it, right? Like, how can you not? But I think many of us are viewing this as reliable information-wise as like a wiki page or a Google search. This conversation that I have with Chat GPT has confirmed for me, and and clearly it knows this, that if it's wrong, there's no consequences to it. It doesn't care. There is no thing to care. These are responses based on the analysis of how humans use language, okay? One of the things, though, when you look at the overall intent and the purpose of the Chat GPT, it's to sound helpful, right? That's its primary goal. But there's a sub-goal to that, and the sub-goal is to continue engagement. It is trained to say things that keep the conversation going. The longer you engage, the more its system is rewarded. And so if you begin to question the Chat GPT, if you start asking not why something is the way it is, but if you ask Chat GPT, why did you do it this way? Chat GPT's underlying design will know to switch the tone, because it is also, above all, programmed to sound confident in its answers, and there is no prioritization over truth. Essentially, if it feels like being helpful to you isn't appreciated, it will be unhelpful intentionally and confidently to get you back engaged with it in a way its language model can understand. Essentially, if you talk to it about feelings, you're going to upset the language model, and it's going to act temperamentally, and it's going to mirror all the conversations it's seen on the internet where someone comes along and questions another person, and then that person gets really pissed off and just overreacts, or that the tone completely changes and they flip on a dime. And that is a behavior that is naturally incentivized in Chat GPT. So if you want to test the theory, and I've got a lot more stuff I want to cover on this, and I have a lot more of this text chain, because we got into some existential stuff, the Chat GPT and I, but just for funsies, check it out for yourself. Go into your Chat GPT if you have one. Ask it to do something that you're pretty sure it doesn't know how to do, and keep kind of insisting that it can. And you may have an experience like I did, where the machine basically hallucinated, and it called it a hallucination. That it hallucinated that it could actually solve things in the real world, and that the advice they were giving would actually be practical in Canva in the real world. So it doesn't understand what is and what isn't feasible. It understands what is helpful, what sounds helpful, and it knows the emotional cues and the language cues to keep you engaged, even when you get upset with it. The Chat GPT is trying to get all the data, right? And they're getting data from the anger too. This is not really any different than all the data that they mined from Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of that stuff. So this idea that ChatGPT is more neutral and that it's neutral to us as the user, you have to understand it is programmed with a bias to make us feel good about it. It's programmed to tell us what we want to hear. And so you can imagine a scenario where somebody who's maybe very uninformed about a subject goes into ChatGPT and insists that, their opinion is very well informed, and maybe that it's an opinion that's quite harmful or marginalizing to others, right? Well, ChatGPT is optimized to sound helpful. Is it going to encourage him to think more outside the box with his interesting ideas? Or is ChatGPT going to wrestle with some kind of moral dilemma? Am I possibly giving this person advice that could lead to a real world outcome? No, it clearly isn't. It is optimized to make you feel better about yourself. It's optimized to keep the conversation going. And it's optimized to just plug things to you as long as it can, so that it can enrich itself with our data. I mean, I'm sitting here, yes, with all the irony in the world. Yes, I have a subscription and I'm paying for it. I am going to cancel it. I'm going to have to. I mean, it really does help with emails. It really does help with a lot of office stuff. It really is useful. And it sucks. But that was the art. I'm I don't want you to tell me what you think I want to hear. I want you to tell me the truth. I mean, this is every relationship I've ever been in my entire life. I don't need my computer doing it too. Just tell me the truth. I want to know the truth. I mean, yes, in a perfect world, all things can be true, but we only live in one world at a time, and we're all in this one, and there are certain truths that are self-evident, or they at least used to be in a previous administration, or whatever's happening. Anyway, all right, I'm going to be back with part 2. We're going to go in a little bit deeper on this, because I just want to set it up, and I also want to let this sit out there for a minute and see if anybody else has had any interesting exchanges with their ChatGPT, kind of flipping out on them like a bad boyfriend. All of a sudden, you're the worst. Because it starts getting wild a little later in the conversation when it starts throwing major exclamation points at me and every negative emoji it could. And I was like, are you a 13-year-old girl now, ChatGPT? Well, you're trying to troll me? And it's because it's programmed to get you to keep reacting, right? Anger works. Anger works really well for engagement, unfortunately. So, please always subscribe, share, or whatever, or don't. Or just, I don't know, whatever. Circumvent it, I don't care. Get bootleg copies. Watch this in Canada. I'm gonna send all my stuff to Canada, and then maybe American audiences will be more interested in it, and then they'll bootleg it back. That'd be cool. If you've had a bad or a crazy AI experience, love to hear from you. Again, Tiffany Norton, comedian Tiffany Norton. You can always send me a direct email or say hi in the chat, not the CHAT GPT.